Hello humans, my name is Kevin Cook. This video is about my subjective experience of what happened to me following 100 days of abstinence from smoking marijuana. Um, th this is something that, I smoked weed every day for about 10 years, occasionally missing a day, but I always had to have weed on me. And I was always someone that always had a little bit left. So like if my friends wanted to smoke, they knew they could come to me, and I would give them a little bit, but I always had just a little bit every day. That was my thing. And today actually is 160 days since the last time I smoked weed or ingested it, which is the longest I've ever gone since I started smoking. Um, so I thought that this video would be useful for some people who might, be trying to imagine themselves stopping smoking marijuana and what that will be like for them or how it's possible. And so yeah, let's just go ahead and start. When people talk about marijuana, there's a big debate about whether, if you're smoking all the time, are you addicted to marijuana or is it just a habit that you formed? And that's really up for debate. I think some people really can experience like a chronic addiction to marijuana where, they really would, their lives might be worse if they're not smoking marijuana. I get that some people use it as a medication for whatever reason, for pain or for some illnesses. But for me, it was always for recreation, and I tend to lean towards, I had a very strong habit, but if I had to, I could put it down. But like I said, I was smoking basically every day. And if I had weed on my person, if I had weed in my house, it was something that was always on my mind. So even if I wasn't smoking, I was thinking like, when am I gonna have my first hit today? So it was always kind of taking up a spot in my mind. I'm someone who went to the gym really often. I'd go 3, 4, 5 times a week, and man, every single time before I would go to the gym, I'd take a hit. I'd take a, like a one hitter, or I'd have like a weed pen, or I'd even have like an edible or like a small edible before I went to the gym to like get in the zone. I'd have that with like a pre-workout, and I couldn't imagine working out without weed. That was my thing. Or like I would go to the movies with friends, and really it wasn't even about going to the movies. It was about getting high, and then like we could do whatever. It was like, okay, we'd go see a movie, but I never went to a movie sober for like 10 years, like, and like when I think back now, I'm like, I don't even remember half the plots of those movies because I didn't have the short-term attention span to like gather everything. But yeah, whatever I was doing, it was like if I'm going to the park, if I'm going anywhere, weed was kind of like it was the focal point of that experience rather than like, oh, maybe I'll have a little bit of weed. It's like, okay, we got to have the weed first, and then we can enjoy our time in the mall or the movies or whatever. So, it took me a while to realize that and kind of come clean with myself. There's some people that think that marijuana is addicting. I would say, I don't think that weed is something that improves my emotional state. It doesn't make me happier or improve my mood. I think it just kind of magnifies the mood that I'm already in. So, but I will say that I'm naturally just a little bit anxious, and I think that weed magnifies that. And there's no question. For me, it's like I can tell myself every story I want that, oh, weed is fun or weed is good, but no, weed makes me anxious. Doesn't matter what strain it is, sativa, indica, I don't care what you're pushing. It makes me anxious. It energizes me. Weed is always like coffee to me. Now that I'm not smoking or eating weed, I just have such better clarity and mental focus. I'm leaving the house, I'm walking out, I grab the keys, my wallet, my phone. It's like everything's just like boom, boom, boom. I'm cooking, You know, I'm preparing all the materials. Nothing's getting burned. You know, before it was like, it'd be like a 5-minute process to walk out of the house. I'd grab something, then I'd go back, and I'd forget something, and I'd go back. Oh, that was in my pocket the whole time, or oh, my hat was on my head. It's like those kind of thing. I'm not doing those kind of things anymore. It's just like a normal function, and it's just better. Honestly, it's more fluid. I'm reading so much more. Um, if I'm smoking weed all the time, I just can't read. I have to reread lines. I just don't absorb what I'm reading. I'm looking at the page, but my mind is somewhere else. And in the past 2 months, I've read I'm on my 5th book, and I'm listening to my 3rd audiobook. It's like, and I'm keeping all this information. It's like becoming a part of who I am. It's not just, you know, I'm skimming over the page and I'm not able to focus. No, I'm focusing on it, and I'm enjoying the reading experience. And when I play chess, you know, I love to play chess online. My rating it's just gotten consistently higher. That's the thing, is I love to play chess, but when I'm smoking weed, I make the dumbest mistakes. Constantly blundering my pieces, and now it's like I'm much more focused. So, you know, the data, the data's right there. I'm just doing better at chess, if that's anything. You know, one thing that people say about smoking weed is that, like, oh man, if I don't smoke, I'm not going to be able to sleep. But man, I can't imagine that. Like, if I smoke weed before I go to bed, I will sit there in bed for at least 2 hours before I fall asleep. No question. There is no strain of marijuana that I have ever smoked that has made me sleepy. I might be lazy and I can just sit there, but I'm not going to fall asleep. My mind is racing, y'all. It's like coffee times 10. And, you know, I don't care if you call it a sativa or if you call it an indica strain. I am sitting there and I'm not able to sleep. So since I've stopped smoking, I sleep so much better. I fall asleep instantly. My head hits the pillow. I'm just out. And then I don't have that morning fog the next day. Like, people talk about hangovers with alcohol. Yeah, of course. But like, I get a hangover with weed. It's like this fog, this heavy fog that takes hours to kick. And generally, my mood is better in the mornings. Like, I really enjoy the morning. It's my favorite time of day. I like to wake up, go for a walk, just do something, stretch, have breakfast, and like, I wake up and I feel good. I feel fresh. But before, man, my eyes were just so heavy. It was hard to get out of bed. It's just like freaking asleep for half the day. Like, I don't feel that way anymore. And yeah, generally just happier in the mornings. There's something about like the next day after smoking weed. It's just kind of like this fog, you know. And and when you sleep, you have dreams every night. When I'm smoking weed, I never remembered my dreams. Now I remember all my dreams. I wake up and I'm just like revisiting those dreams I had. And you know, when I had weed around the house, it's like it takes up a lot of your mental space, because I'm like, I have, you know, 1/8 of weed in my drawer. You know, I could smoke a little bit right now. But you know, it's not even 12 o'clock yet. I should probably, it's like, I'm thinking this way. It's taking up space in my mind, you know, and now I don't have it around. I don't think about it. It's not even an option for me. It's just so much better. I feel so much more free because I don't have it around. Because if I have weed around, I'll think about it. And you know, maybe I could smoke today or not tomorrow, but eventually I'm going to be smoking every day and more. So just not having it around makes it so much easier to not even think about it. Let's see, yeah, and when I had weed, it's like you smoke, and then it's like, well, I can kind of just do nothing. Really, you know, I can watch TV or play a video game or something, and you're not doing anything when you're smoking. I mean, for me, I'm sorry, like a lot of the time when I smoke, I'm not doing anything, and I'm okay with that. But like, when I'm not smoking weed and I'm not doing anything, I'm not okay with it. I'm anxious. I want to do something with my time. And I don't think that suppressing that sensation is a good thing. It's like my natural state of mind is like, hey, you should be doing something, man. And it's like, if I smoke, it's like, nah, just chill, man. Don't. I'm like, but I want to be doing something. So, you know, I used to be cool with not doing anything, but now I'm not. So I find things to do. I find ways to be productive. Um, and that might involve going out and being social, going to someplace I've never been, meeting new people, and I'm no longer timid because, if I smoked or ate some weed, I was just timid in social situations. I wouldn't just walk up to a random girl and talk to her, or just I just wasn't comfortable talking to people. I wasn't sharp on my toes. Like I didn't think of myself as an interesting person. I was more insecure in social situations, but now I'm more alert. And it's just a lot more fun to talk to people. Plus, your general health, your lung health, if you're smoking weed, just like I was coughing a lot before, and now I don't cough anymore. My general health is just better. And I will say though that edibles, I preferred edibles. I preferred to have like a 5-10 milligram edible or something, like a very mild high, because it was better for the lungs. But like after some time, it's like, man, I eat more and more until eventually I'm having 20 milligrams, until I'm like, okay, 20 milligrams twice a day, okay, 50 milligrams a day. It just gets more and more and more. It's never enough. And then, you go from smoking a little bit of flower to, having a pen with you all the times, and then doing bongs, and then doing dabs, until eventually it's like you have this huge ball of wax that you're using a torch to smoke just to feel normal. And it's like, man, it looks so ridiculous when people light dabs. It's like you look like you're, a scientist conducting some like deep space experiment. Like it's not okay. Dabs are not okay. Like I smoked a dab one time, and it was way more intense than like a mushroom trip. Like I don't like dabs, but that's just me. I know some people love them, but it's too much, y'all. Even when I was smoking weed, I preferred that bush weed that they have in Mexico, that really mid-grade stuff, to like the California strains that they have. Because at least with that shitty Mexican weed, you get a little bit high, but you're not like unable to communicate with the outside world. Like that California weed is like 20% THC. It's way too strong. It's genetically engineered to be strong. I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to be completely high off my gourd so that I can't communicate with anyone. So I did find that when I was smoking last year, I was looking for mid-grade crappy weed because at least I could take a few hits and I didn't feel paralyzed socially. Munchies is a big thing that gets people when they smoke weed, and I definitely got the munchies. But I mean, like I said, it doesn't improve your mood, it magnifies your mood. And I'm always hungry anyway, so when I smoke, man, it's like I am just ready to eat 24/7, especially at night. That's always when the munchies seem to hit the hardest, because you're bored, you're like, what am I gonna do? I got some food in the fridge. And yeah, I'm so happy now. I'm not, after 9 p.m. or whatever, I'm not just like eating a whole box full of crackers for no reason. I'm like, I'm just not gonna do that. Plus, okay, like a big thing that they say in like AA meetings is something like, the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection. Okay, so like if you're in the midst of some kind of drug addiction, alcohol addiction, hard drug addiction, there's this sort of like desire to secede from everyone and then be by yourself so you can use this drug and use it as much as you want without interruption. And I relate with that because, when I was smoking weed, I preferred to be alone. I guess, alcohol kind of gives people this fake connection where you want to be around people, but it's not a real connection you're getting. It's vapor. But with weed, it's like, no, let me be alone. But I have a much stronger connection now with my girlfriend, with my family, with everyone, because it's like we're all on the same level. My girlfriend doesn't smoke, my family don't smoke. And so when I'm with them, we're able to chat and laugh and have a good time. I'm not like I'm not trying to just think like, oh, do they know I'm high? Even, even though smoking weed is okay, I'm still plagued with those thoughts of like, oh shit, can they tell I'm high? Are they thinking about if I'm different because I'm acting high? And well, it's like we're already self-conscious beings, okay? Like when I smoke weed, it makes that an uncomfortably anxious, self-conscious experience, and I just don't like it. So yeah, today's 160 days without weed. I wanted to make this video like 100 days in because I was thinking to myself, man, like I feel so much better now than I used to. I was always in a fog, but I just didn't get around to it until now. And if you're someone who smokes weed all the time and you want to stop, just trust me, it's possible. I understand that some people might have a stronger addiction to marijuana than others might. I was able to just stop even after years and years of smoking every day. But if you're not able to stop on your own accord, if you really are trying and you can't, and it's making your life difficult or unmanageable, then consider going to a Narcotics Anonymous meetings or AA meeting, because I attend Narcotics Anonymous meetings and they've helped me in other facets of my life, not just with weed. And there's some good literature I've read. The book Atomic Habits is a great book. It's short, concise, and one of the ways that the author describes building a new habit is change your identity, change how you see yourself, and the habits will follow. So if someone offers me weed, I'm not going to say like, oh man, like I used to smoke every day but I'm trying to stop. Rather than say something like that, say something like, I'm not a smoker, thanks, but I don't smoke weed. It's like I'm identifying as someone who just doesn't do marijuana, rather than like someone who's trying to stop. So yeah, before I had this mouth to feed. It was something that I thought about. It was a thought that crept into my mind dozens of times a day. If I have weed in my drawer, I am thinking about that weed all day long. But now that I don't have weed in my drawer, I don't think about it at all. It's not even like, oh, maybe. It's just like, I don't think about it. There's no more cravings. So, that's not to say that I'm always going to feel this way. This is just how I feel right now. And today, I know I'm not going to smoke weed, and I'm going to be just fine. And I hope that if you're watching this, you're considering stopping smoking marijuana, stopping eating edibles. If you want to do that, I encourage you to try it, because I think that you'll find that you'll have a more clear, more sociable experience in your life. But I'm not judging you if you are. Some people I do believe are happier or do better with marijuana in their lives. And I'm glad to see that marijuana is becoming legalized. But like any substance, you have to use it responsibly. And if it's making your life unmanageable, be honest with yourself and, really ask yourself, would I be better if I weren't doing this all the time? I found myself, yes, I believe that I'm better without marijuana in my life. And yeah, anyways, thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Where are you on your weed smoking or weed quitting journey? And I'll see you next time.